Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's a special day today.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Want to know what makes it special?
What?
It's Anna's birthday. But you know what? We can't forget, can we? We have to ring in Anna's birthday.
Yes.
You don't have anybody else volunteer.
I gotta get my cardio. I gotta get the cardio in.
Because I made you
daughter
cheat.
did that run from Mount Tarkin. She did that before.
Oh, has she?
Yes.
All right, what are we doing here? Work, random number, 12. All right, what are we giving away today? A cool bag,
Oh.
but wait. Jeff
There's more.
Wilson has donated a,
What?
What is that?
Oh.
go Knights go! And we got a lot of other good stuff in there. So, number is, who is it? Who is it?
Yay. I'm always number
I don't think anybody.
Nothing.
What is it?
one. Number one. I didn't see it because it was
You guys thought you were so smart moving off number one, didn't you?
Yes.
You know what that means?
You keep it.
I'm taking it. All right, we'll pick another number.
It's so funny because I was gonna put one, but
Six.
Redo it.
Yeah, oh man.
All right, redo it again. 8.
Mila.
No. What can I say?
Congratulations, Richard. All right,
That could be a cheap ride. There you go.
so, you know the routine. Take pictures throughout. Make sure you take picture of me. Make sure you take pictures of our
Oh my God, the
speakers.
screen just cracked.
And good job. Read between the lines. So, and at the end, check in on Facebook, not on the private groups, on the public groups. With that being said, our breakfast sponsor this morning is Stinky. We have these two gentlemen from Stink Stoppers, and the donuts were amazing.
yes, they were.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Come on up, tell us what you do.
All right. Richard. Oh, there
Good morning, Realty One.
Morning.
My name is Kelly and I'm with Stink Stompers, Las Vegas. And if you guys aren't familiar with what Stink Stompers does, is we help realtors and homeowners sell stinky houses. So if you ever have a house that's been smoked in, cigarettes, marijuana, we can even decontaminate methamphetamine. If somebody has cooked or done anything weird like that in a house, we can get those numbers down to 0 and make that house available on the market immediately. So usually takes about 24 to 48 hours, 48 with the things like methamphetamine, 24 hours on cigarettes and things like that. Has anybody ever found their client the perfect house, the perfect location, the perfect school district, and then the clients walk in, smell cigarettes, and then turn around and walk right out?
How about cats?
So
Yeah.
here's the thing with cats. With pet stains, we can definitely get rid of it as long as with cats specifically, if they peed on the walls and it's went down the baseboards, you gotta do some replacement.
Yeah.
But we can fix it, but it takes a little bit more work than just the gassing, yeah.
So
Carpets need to be come out usually, things like that.
what is your method? Is it like closing off the house and putting some fumigation in it or deep?
Yeah, so we use a chlorine dioxide gas, and if anybody's not familiar with chlorine dioxide, when the White House was hit with anthrax, chlorine dioxide is what they came in and treated and decontaminated it with. So it also basically remove any virus, MRSA, C. diff, things like that. Obviously COVID-19. And what a lot of people do, just so when they move into a house, just to move into a fresh, new environment that hasn't been kind of tainted with other people's funk, we can go in there and bring those numbers back to zero.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, so what do you use?
Chlorine dioxide.
Chlorine dioxide.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
think
a fume, or like you kind of like the whole, like
Yeah,
gas it all out?
so it's a chemical reaction. We mix part A and part B, and then we run it through our pumps in the house, and it starts to fill up with the gas. And what it does is it oxidizes any type of smells. Anybody ever used ozone?
Yeah.
You know, so we go in and we fix ozone problems all the time. So people will try to remove a smell with ozone. Ozone doesn't necessarily work, in my opinion, and it leaves its own kind of smell behind. Ozone has its own kind of funky odor.
What
So-
about like bleach and softener?
What's that?
Bleach? Bleach, bleach. Like
Bleach.
What about it?
Could you use bleach?
Oh,
Get rid of a
well,
body.
it's chlorine dioxide, so it's not actually bleach. So it's a chemical reaction that causes an oxidation.
I see.
So any odor, we're not covering it over or masking it. We're actually eliminating it from the source.
And how long do they need to stay out of the house?
24 hours. Yeah.
What about the air?
So if you're taking a listing and there's some smells to it, you might want to recommend, what does it cost
Yes,
for
it is.
a typical?
So we're looking at usually about 80 cents to 240 a square foot.
Whew. Expensive.
80 cents, 240.
Depending on
The nature
how
of it.
how bad it is, what needs to be done to get rid of it.
Just a question, can you do like sections, like maybe the grandma lived in the lower stairs, vicinity that have their own bathroom and her own like little maybe casita, and
Yeah.
the people that live there had a cat? It would be like, you can just oxidize one area and not have to do the whole house? You
Sure.
can do that in sections, like over
Sure.
room or things like that?
We can. It doesn't really work with cigarettes that way, but with cat odor, we definitely could.
Cigarettes,
If
you have
we
to do
could-
the whole house. So
Because it's smoke, so it's gonna
penetrate through.
Permeate the whole
yeah,
house, yeah.
Okay, even though it only did remove, it's still gonna kind of linger.
Right. So you treat one area and it would smell great, and then you go to the other and you're like, oh, it's gonna smell like beer now. So then we're chasing it.
So have you had any unsuccessful deodorizing, like to the point where someone has to go in and paint because it's so bad, or they have to change out the carpets? Or would you know that offhand?
We've been doing this for 5 years, so
Okay.
we've done hundreds of houses. So we've never had one that didn't work.
Well, what about like a plumbing, like what if a plumbing leak and there was
Any odor, anytime.
any odor?
Any odor, anytime.
Okay.
All right, thanks again, thank you for the donuts, they're awesome.
And these are right out on the table there. We have business cards and 2 different flyers.
Okay,
Great.
thank you so
All
much.
right.
What's your turnaround time to do a house? Like how long in advance can you do it?
It's about 24 hours.
I mean, to get out to the property and take care of it?
Usually the same week we can get out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool, I might call you.
All right, perfect. That's what we're doing here.
Got a small area I wanna treat.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Great
Thank
service,
you.
and again,
Thank you guys so much.
if you're taking a listing and, it'll sell a whole lot easier if it doesn't stay.
I know.
Are we, if we have a buyer find a listing, the listing kind of smells, we can actually negotiate that in the terms to get the order history.
Sure.
All right. Our rev up schedule tomorrow, Friday, is Module 8, Finding Motivated Sellers and Preparing to Win the Listing, right here and via Zoom. Jeff will be the instructor on that one. Next Wednesday is Winning the Listing and Negotiating the Sale, again, right here and via Zoom. Dennis, our new branch manager of Green Valley, will be the instructor on that one. And then next Friday is Module 10, Closing the Sale and Creating Clients for Life, and John's the instructor on that. All right, so we have from June 26th to July 7th, there will probably be some interruptions in the office pretty much after hours. We don't know which days, we don't know how much disruption. We don't know if they're going to be setting alarms off. I know
Is
they
it the
are.
building or this office exclusive?
This,
This office.
the whole building, not upstairs.
It's, so, no, from June 26th to July 7th, they will be in this office suite. And I don't know which private offices they will be in, I don't know where they'll be in our specific suite, but they will be here that
Is it
week from 5
dictated by
PM
the-
to 12 AM.
The owner of the building?
Yes, because it's for fire safety, so they're updating things to,
Okay, I
like
was
the alarm
wondering what was
systems,
going
the
on.
horns and the lights
We
to fire.
put from 26th to 7th, from 5 PM to 12 AM, doesn't mean they're going to be here all of those days, all of those times, but that's the general time frame that they'll be here. So just be aware that there could be some disruption. Today, this afternoon, 1 o'clock, Justin Taylor is teaching how to leverage Altos market data in your business. We're gonna have it here on the TV at 1 o'clock. We also, today is the food truck, every Thursday is Food Truck Thursday, and Street Kings, which I have no idea. Do we know what Street Kings does?
They've been here a bunch of
Tacos?
times. No, they're like burgers and fries, aren't they?
I don't know.
I have no idea, I've never been there.
I don't know. I haven't been to that one
I
yet.
just assumed they were tacos.
And, okay, next week's sales meeting, next week's business meeting is Sky Slope Forms. Who has used Sky Slope Forms so far? So, be here next Thursday.
Yeah.
Justin is going to be teaching us Sky Slope Forms. It's taking place of Transaction Day. It's taking place of Remind Docs Plus, which is horrible. But Sky Slope Forms is awesome. I played with it. It's good. It's so much more intuitive and easier to use than, have you used it?
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. So next Thursday's business meeting right here. All right, June 29th is our 4th of July Red, White, and Barbecue.
No, don't show it. Focus.
Right here, barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs. Need to RSVP. We need to know how much food to get. We'll be barbecuing right outside there. So RSVP to swadmin@realty1group.com. Or Laura or Stephanie. I shouldn't have said that, should I?
No, that's fine, I was actually gonna say, or you can just email me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Send me an email, Richard.
Just call her, she
Hey,
likes
Mark, I
that
have a
better.
quick question on that.
On the burgers, because we're gonna get the burgers,
Uh-huh.
what do we need to do, what are they called? The
Hot dogs?
the ones that aren't with meat?
Veggie
Those-
burgers?
Veggie
Burgers?
burgers?
Or
Probably
Beyond
should
Meat?
do a few, yeah. There's
There's buns.
Disgusting.
There's buns and cheese.
The buns,
Did you have
mayonnaise, ketchup, what more do you need?
Pickles, tomatoes.
Onions, yeah.
And let Jax cook
And you have
it.
meatless, right there. All right, July 7th is our general membership meeting. We always reserve at least 3 tables for the membership meeting. I have already RSVP'd. It's $35 to sign up for, but they put that on your account. So when you pay your MLS dues or you pay $35 less.
Oh,
You know if
okay.
it's gonna be like the last one, a little bit, or are they changing it back to?
Oh, I don't think it'll be like that.
No, this
Sorry, Mark.
This one's about a
Guys
lot
are
of
funny.
candidates for
The election,
Yes.
the upcoming election, some of the candidates will be there.
Awesome.
They'll be, so we're not gonna have, I like it when they have CE classes, but, so they're not gonna have a CE.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so, but it's, they serve us lunch, all right? It's usually a pretty good lunch too, it really is. And good dessert too, which sometimes is too good. So anyway, July 7th, it's pretty much like from 10 to 3, 10 to 4, something like that. Bowling night is coming up. You need to RSVP if you want to bowl with us. Last time we did it, we had a whole lot of fun, didn't we?
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you need to RSVP and pay. I've received 1 payment so far. It's like $20, right? Yeah, $20. Shoes included.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Was that a year
We
ago?
actually have more than that.
It's been a year already.
Wow.
You see, what's it?
Yeah. It was, where's she? Oh, when was it? June of last year that we did the bowling?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was the end of June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, because I started June 2nd, and that was the first thing you had me do.
Yeah. She loved it. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, last year we had to go all the way to
Yes.
Hendertucky.
Yes.
Henderson.
That's because they didn't have velocity then.
Uh-huh.
What's that?
They didn't have velocity then.
Right. So we're doing it, it's at Town Center.
What is
Town
it?
Square.
Town
Town
Square.
Square?
Yeah.
Town Square.
In Summerlin or?
Oh,
Las Vegas.
Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Guitar Center,
Oh,
AMC Theaters,
oh,
right
not
there.
Town Square.
yeah.
Town Center.
So we don't have to
Town
drive all the way
Square.
across town.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
RSVP and pay. You can do it, cash is best, but you could do it, Zelle, that's probably it. Or a check, I guess.
What's the date on that again, Mark?
July
21st.
21.
What is it?
July 21st.
July
July
21st.
21st.
It's a blast, dude.
I know, I
Yes.
can't go.
Yes.
I think he was there.
Yeah, I think I slid down
Nathan
the aisle a
Valentine
couple
already
times.
signed you guys.
Oh, okay, we're seeing that, good. Yeah, I went last year,
I was the ball.
Yeah, but as she paid.
No, but she was talking to me about it last night,
All right, all right.
but I was leaving. so.
Super Summer Theater, also a very, very fun event we did last year.
Because it's
It is August 26th, and if you've never been out there to Spring Mountain Ranch for the plays, who's never even heard of it? Who's never been? Really?
It's okay.
It's amazing.
So
make them
it's-
all go. They're all good.
Yeah, good, good. So what it is up in the hills, past the Red Rock Loop, there's Spring Mountain Ranch. And they have a full-on amphitheater up there with a whole grass section. You bring your blankets, your chairs, your wine, your beer, your whatever you want to
Food,
bring,
bring
food.
Sounds like a California
You-
concert.
Yeah, very much like that.
Yeah.
And the play actually starts at sunset, but you go early where you can visit, you can drink.
And just to make it easy, they rent chairs for $1, and I highly recommend that
Yep.
because there's a non-chair section and a chair section, and they're restricted on the type of chairs you could bring.
Yeah.
So for $1, just rent their chair.
Yeah.
Yep, it's so much
There's a height
easier.
restriction to the back of your folding chair,
Exactly.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's so fun, it's
It
so
is.
cool, it really is. And it gets a little cool up there. They recommend you bring a light jacket because it can, once that sun goes down, it really cools off. So that's gonna be August 26th. So RSVP to swadmin@realty1group.
Is that all offices or just ours?
You know what?
I remember one year we did it all offices.
Yeah, really, it's just ours, but
Okay.
I'm telling Dennis that if he wants to piggyback on that with us for the Green Valley, they can, because they're duds over there, they don't do anything. My running buddy, yes.
But work.
All right, blood drive. It is July 24th, all day right here in this room. I've already signed up. I will be giving blood at 10 a.m. And this, literally, I just scanned that and it took me to their site and I registered that way. If you have hot new listings or open houses that you want to promote, get that information to Stephanie by noon. No exceptions, bold, capitalized, underline, exclamation. Why you hiding your face, Steph? 12 noon. All right, pet of the week. Who's pet of the week? If you want your pet to be, what's that?
I'm gonna send my king next week.
Your what?
My king have a boxer. He's white.
Cool.
Yeah, he's
Submit. So submit to Stephanie. This week's pet is not a boxer. It is a little white dog called Molly. And whose dog is this?
Rhoda Stock.
Rhoda Stock's dog.
Aww.
Yes. Zell, just to have Zell is not enough if you want your commission to be Zell. You need to sign up for Zelle, and you have to check it on the CDA, all right? Stats. All right, here's the latest stats. Listings, 4759. What was it last week? 4794. So it's gone down again every week. It continues going down. It's going down less, but it continues to go down. 3668 on single families. Last week was 3699. So again, that went down some. How many souls? 2784, 2840. So that went down as well. And the month's inventory hung tight at 1.7. So it seems to have stabilized a little bit. There's still, we're still dealing with multiple offers. We're still, I tell you guys every week, if you're working with buyers, take them to new homes. Take them to new homes because they still have great deals and they're giving money away. You can get them for 4.25, 4.5, 4.9. So if you're working with, and a lot of them do have standing inventory. So go to new homes. Any questions on stats? We'll put them on our Facebook pages. We'll put them in the newsletter so that you can get that information out to your clients as well. All right. Now, while you're all here is our escrow panel. So let me welcome up. We have Jaime, Sarah, and Kathleen. Laura was not able to make it this morning, so hopefully you guys have brought some questions. We don't want to stump them. We don't want to make it too hard on them, but we do want to. We want to know.
Harder the better. We'll figure it out.
Three brains up here, so
Yeah.
Between the three of you, you may be able to figure it out.
If not, we'll find a way.
There you go.
We should introduce Kathleen.
Yeah, so first of all, I want you all to introduce yourself, clearly one at a time. What I want is your names, what office you're out of, how long you've been in escrow, and how long you've been with Rock. All right?
Okay, I'm Jaime Newmeyer. I'm branch manager of our Green Valley office. I have been in escrow for 26 years.
You're not old enough.
You know, I just learned that she's the mom of
Anthony.
Anthony.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's awesome.
You guys didn't know that?
You guys didn't know that?
Yep.
That's so funny.
Not a lot of people do know.
Now we all know.
Yeah, everybody does.
And it's on recording.
And now you'll notice it on social media too, because she posts all the time.
Yep.
Cute.
I'm Kathleen Lamarche, branch manager of the Northwest branch. I've been in escrow 28 years. I am old enough. I'm happy to be here.
How long have you been with Rock?
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah, who were you
2
with
years
before?
next
Because your name's so
week. I
familiar.
was at First American for 16 years,
Yes.
Tycor for almost 6 years.
I'm sure I've done
And then
deals
a couple
with you.
more before First American.
Like all of us that have been in business that long, we've been with a few companies, haven't we?
Yes.
I just remember your name.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah Martinez. I'm an escrow officer at Green Valley. I've been with Rock Title for 3 years, but I've been in escrow for 23 years.
Nice. Cool.
Green Valley?
Yeah.
How do you like your new office?
I like it. It's
Yeah.
nice. I mean, it's been remodeled for a while, but it's pretty.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Cool. So I have a few questions written down, but I also want questions from you guys. I think you have a question or two, right? All right, so my first question regarding earnest money deposits. So if you get a contract, get an escrow, and it says you're supposed to receive the EMD within 3 days, what do you do, if anything, on day 4 if you haven't received the earnest money yet?
Well, day 3, we always notify the agents, EMD's not in. It's usually the morning.
Both agents?
Both agents, yeah. Day 4, I ask the agents, are we still in contract?
Right.
You know, what's happening? That's it.
Put it out there nicely. Hey, do we need to resend our wire instructions? Let us know. Does your buyer need help opening up our security email? You know, kind of.
You do it nicely,
Be
huh?
nicely so that the listing site is aware that we don't have it.
So Kathleen does it nicely. Do you do it nicely?
Always nice.
What else, Sarah?
Yeah, so if we don't get the earnest money deposit, we definitely always wanna follow up with the buyer. We'll email the realtors and say, hey, you know, if you would like us to reach out to the buyer, you know, we're more than happy to. Like Kathleen said, walk them through the secure email, especially if they're maybe a little bit older and they're not sure how to get into the portal and download the wire instructions. We're more than willing to help, you know, we're definitely will put whatever we need to do to help the buyer to get the earnest money in. But if the buyer's not responding, then of course we put it back on the realtor, like, hey, we've done most what we could do besides going to the bank and getting the money, but, you know, taking them, you know, driving them, taking them, but, you know, we put it back on the realtor and say, hey, tell us what you would like us to do next.
Awesome. Any questions regarding earnest money at all?
How do you guys handle if, you know, I love this one. The contract says wired and they bring in a certified check.
We always ask the agents if it's okay.
Because I mean, the contract does say wired and that's a breaking of the contract. So
Right.
Absolutely.
you don't
Yeah.
stop back.
Should have an addendum for that,
Yeah.
because they're not following the terms of the
Exactly.
contract. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so you don't accept personal checks whatsoever?
For EMD, we can.
And we just have to have time for it to clear. Nevada State, good funds law, personal checks are generally 30 days. However, if your client deposits personal for EMD, we may ask that they show us the bank statement, front and back of the check that it
But if the,
cleared, so we have it on
if the
file.
contract says wire, but then they bring a personal check, yes, I agree, an addendum has to be done. You don't cash that check, you sit on it until you get documentation to put it in?
We'll reach out to the agents if they're agreeing to it, the listing side, that it's okay for the personal, we're gonna deposit the check because we
But
wanna
it's-
just start clearing.
But it's not the agent's decision because the contract's between the buyer and the
Well,
seller.
the agents represent the buyer and the
Yeah.
seller, so they have to
Yeah.
ask.
And they'll know that they to
Yeah,
get an
to,
addendum.
you know,
But they need to deposit it so
Start
that.
the
and even if we
Yeah.
deposit and they say, no, we want a wire, and they have to go wire, then we'll refund that.
Yeah.
Once it clears, we'll refund. There's ways around to correct things if something happens.
Felicia has a question.
Well, I think it kind of was answered. What happens in the instance where there's a quick cancel on either end? And then we're in that time frame where that EMD's been deposited. What happens then? Is it?
We have to wait 10 business days and make sure that the check is cleared prior to releasing it.
So it's best to have it wired.
Uh-huh.
Or cashier's check, I did that, but it was a new bill.
So also,
Cashier's check, we still have to wait.
Still have
We
to
still have to
wait,
wait
yeah.
on the cashier's check.
Like
We
a
still have to
day?
have it-
And
No, we still
or-
have to wait, we still have to wait the 7
On
to 10
traditional
days.
homes?
That, we have to call the bank to verify that they actually issued that cashier's check, because that's a
Okay.
whole big fraudulent thing.
Yeah.
That they do, they
Ah.
deposit it, cancel real quick, escrow releases it.
You can
and if
cancel
it
a
was
cashier's
fraudulent-
check? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because if it gets lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So wire's the best. For
Wire's-
buyers, just to
wire's
protect.
always
them.
Wire's always
Yeah.
best, yeah.
It's so scary.
I know.
Judy has a question.
What happens if, in the contract it says, $3,500 EMD, but the buyer's wired in $5,000 EMD? How do you guys
On
address
our
that?
end, it's okay.
It's okay, the only thing in question if it cancels is the 35.
Is
And
there
the
any way
15
to,
will go back to the buyer if there's a dispute.
is
So-
there any way to give the 15 back, like it was an error between the agent and their client, that they were only supposed to do 3,500?
We can refund it, however, it's gonna show on the settlement statement if they're getting a loan, it needs to be explained to their lender, because everything shows they wanna know what money's coming in and out and what it counts.
Any change of the contract need an addendum, or even something like that. that looks better. I got more money
Yeah.
in escrow, still, you know,
We will
it's a
keep
change in
it,
contract.
Towards their closing costs, and they'll bring that much less in.
Is
What
there any,
about it?
sorry, can I follow up to that?
Yeah.
Is there any way to distinguish instead of having, $5,000 in earnest money, it should have the receipt show $3,500 in earnest money and 15 in additional?
I would say an addendum if the client did that, cause I had that
But
happen.
on the
We
settlement
have our
statement,
settlement
it'll
statement,
show
right?
the amount, cause our receipt is for that amount, so it's actually gonna show the total amount received.
Oh, I'm confused.
What about on a, while we're on earnest money, a cancellation? You were hoping I wasn't gonna bring this up, weren't you? So I get this question all the time from agents. You know, it's clearly they cancel within the due diligence period, they cancel, you know, the due diligence period's 12 days, they cancel 5 days in. Clearly it states that the buyer gets the earnest money back. Why do you guys require more signatures for that?
We are a third party, very neutral, we don't represent either side, we need instructions. So if the buyer cancels, we still need the seller side to cancel escrow. And if disputing, if they don't agree, they either have to go to mediation to decide, hopefully. If not, one of the parties are gonna have to go to small claims and we need a court order.
So
for
we
those
can,
funds.
they can cancel and still have the earnest money in dispute though,
Yeah.
correct?
Correct.
So
And
what
that's
if,
the
during the
best
due
thing,
diligence?
like if you're
Yeah.
a listing, the best thing you can do is try to get the buyer side and the sellers to agree to cancel escrow, then we're allowed to cancel it, but we can't
So we
disperse
can't
the
disperse
funds.
the
Yep.
funds, yeah.
Quick question on that.
Wait,
to
wait,
follow up.
we have Richard
Okay,
first.
go ahead.
So wouldn't the contract saying that they're canceling at that time and you get the cancellation, wouldn't that be the instruction for you to release the earnest money deposit? It should be.
so we would put that in the addendum too, cancel and then earnest money
Release
to
to
be.
buyer.
Has to spell out where
Whoever.
Yeah,
where
just
the earnest
put it
money's
in your
going.
addendum, that
Yep.
it's
And
not
it still has to
supposed
be signed by both parties?
Yes.
Got it.
Because they
I know,
want it
I went through
canceled.
that.
Can do whatever.
Yeah, I lost only one. It was not
We
my
just
fault.
have to have-
Yeah.
We in escrow just for everything we mutually signed.
Yes. We only take instructions in writing because we need it for our files,
The
and both
handshake's
parties have
over.
to be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cause anything could happen, we don't know, we don't know what happened, if the seller or buyer did something, we don't know, that's why we're always taking instructions from the realtor or assigned by the buyer and seller for us to do anything on our file.
We have a question up here, Daisy.
Just to follow up, I know you said that even though it's a due diligence and there's earnest money, if both of them don't sign, what if you had like both saying, okay, on an email with all parties in there, it doesn't work, you have to have something in signature?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be DocuSign or whatever you sign,
Doesn't have to be
we need to sign.
Okay.
So there's some sections in the purchase agreement that says, I think it's like under the appraisal contingency and loan, that no further signatures are needed to release the earnest money deposit.
Well, that's
Problem
for
is, they're
you
not
guys.
parties
yeah,
that
That's
talk
not-
about
We aren't out to
Okay.
use, see, do
Okay,
anything. And
yeah, we still need the addendum to
and
cancel.
like even with early releases, it might say it in the addendum
Mhm.
for early release of EMD, we still need our signage. Because it's relieving liability for everybody because there's nothing recorded and the buyer's money's gone.
Yeah, makes sense.
Any other questions on earnest money?
Since we're talking about earnest money and wires, can you explain SOCM?
Yes. Yeah. So anybody heard of Zocca?
What is it?
I haven't.
Zocca. So it's an app, ZOCCAM. It's an app that you download, and it's very, very simple, and it's actual real-time funds. So the client will download the app, they enter in property-specific information from the file, so property address, buyer seller names, agent's info, and then they take a copy of the front of their check, and then they take a copy of the back of their check, and they hit submit, and within a minute, I have the receipt in my email. So the funds are automatically in my trust account.
ZOCCA.
So is that as strong as wiring?
Not .com, it's an app.
So we have a flyer that
Oh, it's an
explains how to
app. Gotcha, my
download
bad.
and sign up, and we can get that flyer to you guys, just reach out to Jocelyn or I. We'll
Yeah,
get
we
you
also
set up.
have a training video that Justin put together for us.
Is that exclusive to Rock Title, or it's
No.
just a?
No, there's other, you can see, you have to choose Rock Title, and you can see all the title companies that actually do use it
Okay.
on there.
It's
but-
title
It's like
company
a mobile,
specific.
it's like a mobile banking, almost like mobile
So do
banking.
you recommend that all the agents sign up for it, or we
I
just
do.
wait for when we get a buyer and tell the buyer?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to sign up themselves, they could tell the client to sign up if they wanted, download the app, but either way, it's the same thing.
Like, I just got one last week, and the buyer was on vacation, couldn't wire the money, he did the app, we had the money later on by the afternoon.
Yeah, I had
So,
one
yeah.
2 days ago,
Yeah.
and my buyers lived here, but their bank was 600 miles away. They couldn't wire online, so they did that, and it was great. It worked amazing.
And is there a limit?
Oh, no.
Do they have a limit? No, okay.
We cannot use it for closing funds.
That's what I was gonna
Closing
say.
funds have to be wired.
Right, just like, yeah, cause
Just for earnest money.
take that to the bank.
Yes.
Exactly. If you gotta drive 100 miles.
Yeah.
Does it still have the 7 to 10 day
No,
waiting period on it?
no, because it's immediately into our trust account.
So it's as strong as wiring?
Yes,
Would it be considered wiring for
No.
the contract?
no.
Oh, so
It's
they
still-
get
it's
the,
still a check.
Just do what?
Because you take a picture of the
Yeah.
check.
Well, can they still pull it back is probably the question.
That, my understanding is no.
No?
That's why it's
So we
immediate.
should have a release on that, so that the buyers
Yeah.
can.
Yeah,
So if you're gonna have your buyers use that, probably should put it in the purchase agreement.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's wire or
Or
whatever.
Socom. Oh, I like it.
Two, with the deposits, let your clients know if you can, do not do an ACH
Oh, yes.
transfer.
Oh, yes.
Our bank won't accept it, it will be rejected, and it will delay.
And the
Because it
problem
could take a
is,
few days for it to
7 to
get
10
back
days,
into
they
your
say.
account.
If, I'm sorry.
It's an ACH transfer, it's like transferring money from your debit credit card
Oh.
instead of an actual wire.
Mhm.
So those can be pulled back, those funds, so that's why it takes so long.
and sometimes
And our
people
bank
do it
companies.
because it's cheaper than a wire, so it'll be $5, maybe $10.
Oh.
And when that happens, we don't get the wire or ACH right away. And then we find out from our bank, we've rejected it because it was an ACH, and then the client's upset because it's gonna take 7 to 10 days for them to get their funds back.
And our wire
Ow.
instructions do state that, but some people don't quite
Okay,
understand
that's nice to
it.
start pushing off, you know,
Yeah.
like that.
Always wire
The
transfer stuff's
trust
gonna be.
factor with it,
Mhm.
you know, cause they have to trust you.
And you know, because wires are typically around $30,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I had that happen to a buyer for closing funds, and it took 5 days for her to get her money back, and then she had to rewire it, and held up the closing for 5 days. And there's nothing.
And had to pay 30.
Yeah, unless she had, unless she had the more money to, which she didn't, so it held up the closing for 5 days, because, she didn't have more money, and she had to wait till that money got back, and, you know, our banks have to talk to their banks, and they have to communicate, so yeah, hold up.
And
for
a
5
new
days.
build, they'll make you pay $200 a day.
Oh, yeah, see, that's a lot of money. $1,000 extra, right?
Oh my
Just-
gosh.
Just to save $25.
My job
Not
to
worth
read the
it.
fine print.
Exactly.
Maybe what was that app called?
Zoccam, ZOCCAM.
So if the agent downloads it, can, like, we just share it with the client? Is
Yeah,
that-
well, I mean, the client can do it on their phone, basically just pick Rock Title and go through the process, because it's gonna still take the picture from their checking account, right? So it's gonna be their check. It'll still pull the money from there, even though it's on the agent's app.
Any other questions on earnest money deposits? All right, let's talk prelims, all right? So,
I know.
what?
She said, where's
Where's
Matt?
No, these are not Matt questions.
Okay.
When a, escrow's open with guys, how soon does the prelim get ordered?
Right away. Like,
That
we
day,
send the thank you
next day?
email for the escrow, and then we enter it into our system, and we email the open order right to title at that point.
And how long does it typically take to get the prelim?
I would say 48 hours. Right now, we're running about,
Unless the property has a lot going on,
Yes.
like several uninsured deeds and then it takes a little bit longer for searching.
And when a prelim comes in, do you go over them, do you read them?
Of course.
And, I mean, easy questions, but the agents wanna know these things. And if there's an issue on the prelim, what happens?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's a demand, we order it right away.
What if it's like a child support lien for $150,000?
Child support's easy, we get
Yeah,
a
those
response
are
pretty
easy.
quickly. IRS ones, no.
They are
Yeah, I was gonna
because they got a
say-
new system, I got a friend that works for that.
Does the IRS lien go, is it reflected on the prelim?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Court
And
orders.
those we definitely wanna jump on quick.
I had a
because
Take a long
situation
time.
when we opened escrow and there was not an IRS lien on it. And I was told that it went with the person and not the property.
No,
And
Not,
then-
well, depends if they file, how they file it.
typically
So
it's
you,
probably
cause it's
not.
against the
Usually
social
attaches.
security,
Yeah, it
It's against the
attaches.
seller's, it's against the social security number, so if they have a property, they own a property, and sometimes that's why we'll ask for more information from the seller or buyer, like social securities and birth dates, because we're trying to find
Statement
out,
of information.
yeah, we're just trying to find out more information to
Right.
ensure that they don't have any judgments. Cause like, I've had one where an IRS, like a lien popped up, the seller took a long time to give the information, but it was him, and he was like, that wasn't even against that property, but it's against your social security number, so we have to
It
address
has
that
to be
issue.
addressed.
Yeah,
So that information sheet that you send
Yeah,
out is
information.
really
yeah,
important.
so if escrow's
huh?
reaching out to you saying, hey, we need additional information, I would definitely jump on that, it's because we are being flagged that there could be an issue, or a judgment, or a lien that we need to clarify.
So if you have John Smith, I mean, that's very
Yeah.
common.
Like
Is
Sarah
it
Martinez
Jonathan,
is
do you have a
very
middle name, is there a junior, senior, anything on that statement of information? Married, not, you know.
Yeah.
that's
So
the title
that
uses.
statement of information is a very, very important form to
Yeah,
get
when we
your
ask
buyer
for-
or seller to
And
fill
then
out
if
right
it
away.
comes in and we're unsure, we have to contact the IRS, the attorneys, whatever the situation is, and ask them if it's our person or not. We have to give them information, so they can, you know,
And they
tell
have
us
their,
it's not ours, and so we could clear it up.
and they have their processing times too,
Yeah,
so
so it's all,
it's good to jump on it, and nobody likes escrow being held up for closing.
it's
We're still
important
waiting
for
it.
agents to review the prelim when they get it, and just to say, well, this doesn't look right, you know, it's not a simple easement, or, you know, why are there two deeds of trust, they only have one loan, well, they did a modification and they recorded a second. We get this a lot, and it goes to HUD, because they're FHA loans, but they create a second mortgage instead of tacking it to the back, so we get a lot of that too, and then the sellers get upset. and,
Yep.
you know,
They don't understand.
Well, as agents, I mean, the prelim's like out of our realm of expertise, and yes,
Well,
we
could
could
do
see.
prelim classes.
Yeah.
So it's-
Yeah, that it's, I try to tell my clients, you know, I take a look at it, review it, but if they have any questions, to contact
Definitely.
you,
Mhm.
because this is your expertise, you
Exactly.
know the
Yeah.
answers, I mean, you don't have a
But
problem.
like,
with
we'll
that.
start, I normally will start with the listing agent if there's an issue
Yes.
against the seller, before I start alarming the selling
Seller.
agent, because we don't need everybody nervous
Right,
if it's not necessary. But if it starts getting where it's gonna be complicated, then we need to disclose it to both sides.
so you would, as a listing agent, you would let us know, hey, these are
Hey,
things
we,
that,
we need a divorce decree
Yeah.
because
Okay.
whatever, or,
perfect.
yeah, just say, so we need this from your client.
Well, and we also have the red alerts on
Right.
top of our
Yeah.
prelims, and that's gonna tell you, it's almost like Cliff Notes.
Tell us about the red alerts.
So basically, when title does their search and creates the prelim, if there's a divorce decree or an uninsured deed affidavit or something that is gonna be needed,
Probate, whatever.
probate, yeah, it's a page that goes on top of the prelim and it says red alert, and it says what's gonna be
It has a
needed.
little box.
So the title department sends a red alert to you guys?
With
Yes.
our
Yes.
prelim, and then
Uh-huh.
when we send
When
out
we
our
send out.
opening package, it's right on top of the prelim.
Yeah.
Or it's not
Judy-
deed
Judy had a
that needs to be
question.
signed.
What is I mean, clearly the IRS does what they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what is the typical turnaround time? And can the seller get their demands being that you guys are, or how does that, I'm being told
The
that my
seller-
seller needs to call, but.
Yeah, the seller can call, sometimes, it all depends on who you get at the IRS. I've had people who say, you know, what is it, 20,
It's hard for us to
Yeah.
get through to the
Yeah.
IRS, cause we have to have them fill out usually in 88, 20, allowing us to talk to the IRS and being on hold for 8 hours for escrow is difficult.
yeah, so typically I would
So
say
it's
20,
tough.
20 days.
But if the
is-
seller calls, like,
It's a
if the IRS gives them stuff, can you guys accept that?
We
Or
can
do they have
review
to
it.
come
We
right
can review
from the IRS in order to be able to close the file?
It all depends, we
Yeah.
have to review it and
Yeah.
have a warm fuzzy feeling to
Mhm.
make sure we're sending enough money because we have to
Yeah.
issue free and clear title.
Yeah.
Just,
That would be a case by case.
I've done both where I negotiated with the IRS. Yeah, it's just like a short sale almost. You get a well, not really a negotiator, a person that's in charge of it.
Right.
They review it, yeah, what was that form I had to fill out with all the, like, where the monies are, and then, but then I've also had where my next one came along, and the title comes in, oh, we got it, I'm like, no, I can do this, I know how to do it, no, we got it, they took care of it.
Yeah.
Usually we like to do it.
Yeah.
Because we're getting it straight from the horse's mouth, how much is due.
Yeah, cause my first one was a short sale, bankruptcy, and a tax lien, all negotiated together to close it.
I don't know,
It
that was.
was a great first short sale too, so it was fun.
Right, each deal with it.
Yeah.
That's just-
Don't expect
It
it.
sounds
Because the
stressful.
IRS only gives you a window to
Yeah.
close,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, so you guys will do that, that's good, no, that's good to know.
we will reach out for help if we're not having any
Oh,
luck.
well, of course, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but you guys, it's nice.
Just
to
so it
know.
gets
I
expedited.
mean, I prefer that, I didn't like doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you did. though.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
For your
fun.
client.
I have a question.
go ahead.
On rent backs, do you hold funds for the,
Security deposit?
Yeah.
yeah, like
Like
when?
we do a post-possession.
Yes,
And send
exactly.
it to us.
Yes, so you handle that with
Yeah.
no issues.
But we need written instructions to release by both parties.
Yes.
Both parties.
That's absolutely key. So once, you know, the seller moves out, they need instructions on what to do with
Especially
that
from the
money
buyer.
that's being held in escrow, signed by both the buyer and the seller.
And the buyer is
At
most
that time.
important, because we gotta make sure they're happy that, you
Yep.
know, there's not holes in the walls and
Yep.
Right,
something
right.
happened
Gonna
in
get
the
checked.
move
New
out.
holes.
New ones, yes.
How long do you guys hold that though? Like I just had another title company reach out like a year and a half later, oh, we're auditing our files and this, and
Well,
they never, so how long do you guys
They
hold it
get
before you start reaching
buried
out?
sometimes, you know, and I don't know why the clients aren't going, where's my money, where's my
Right.
$2,000?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be the first to do that, but sometimes that happens, but really, we have to set a date, which is off of whatever you put on your post-possession.
Yeah.
And we really need them to sign our instructions saying, we'll get instructions by yada yada date, and I will usually cushion it a few days myself.
Yeah.
But I hold my files with red,
Yeah.
so I need
Yeah.
to start following up with the date. So we'll reach back out to the agent and say, hey, did they do the
We
walkthrough?
also get our banking records
Yeah.
every month from accounting, and
Yeah,
so we
so
get
we
all
always-
the trial balances, and that's an indicator, you know,
I just thought it was
money's
weird,
in
cause
there.
it's literally been almost a year and a half and they
Yeah.
finally
It got
started reaching
buried
out,
some-
so-
Yeah.
Because we really technically cannot hold funds
Right.
unless it's the cancellation dispute or
Yeah.
because we're an escrow company, but not in that sense, we don't withhold and disperse.
Only if it's in dispute, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't have an agreement.
So the Clark County puts out annually unclaimed funds, and there have been incidents where it's actually funds from closing of escrow. What do you guys do to avoid being on that list?
For, you mean where they escheat to the state?
Yeah, do you know
I mean,
unclaimed?
you're talking about, that's a long time where
That's
we.
7
Like
years.
if
Yeah,
we
we
sit
reached
here and we reach out, we send letters because we have money sitting and nobody's responding, we have our accounting department that's
That
been
will
good
actually-
about doing
What-
that.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that a buyer's going, or the seller's going to sign their due money, but it's never either issued or they never claim it. I mean, it's just hard to believe that
So
there's.
it's always issued on our end,
Yeah.
but it's a matter of them responding to us or cashing the check. If they don't
Okay.
cash the check, stale dated checks, it happens all the time. So we will reissue,
Okay.
we'll send letters,
So
if
it's
they
a
don't
check
respond,
situation, not
then,
a.
Sometimes you get the check and they lose it.
Yeah.
Or they open, they
In the
don't even
mood.
open them, they just see it's from us, think it's nothing,
Yeah.
and they do either throw them away.
That's
or
where
they
the agent
We
needs
get
to.
buyers refunds from their closings.
Explain that term that you just said, escheat.
When funds are sitting in any account, you do trash, any kind of company, you could, we're only allowed to hold funds, and we have to reach out and have evidence that we did, with no response over, I don't even, not sure the time.
But it's years, right?
If we don't, it's our company's job, then they sheet it to the state, meaning they send the funds to the state. You guys could all go online to the state and see if you have any money sitting in there from some company. Then you write them and you gotta prove to them that it's yours,
Right.
and they'll refund you. I had $3,700 in an insurance thing my mom did when I was young, so it works. You just have to prove who you are.
Free money, huh?
No, I'm like, okay.
Here, I'll take it.
You go on a vacation with
Thanks,
us?
Mom. Probably paid bills.
That's awesome.
But they do, and it's not just us, it's all companies.
yeah.
So you don't automatically wire the proceeds, it's whatever the seller chooses, whether a check
Well, no,
is
we
issued.
follow how they instruct us on
Okay.
their proceeds form.
And a lot of times it's the buyer side that doesn't cash our checks.
Especially if they have a 30-cent refund and we have
It's
to
not
get a
even
check.
worth it, it's like after so long you go, escheat the 30 cents.
Yeah.
Or they're like moving.
We spent more on postage. you
Yeah,
know?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times I've had buyers call, oh my gosh, I was moving and I finally opened my package and I didn't know I had a $50 check and it's like 7 months old.
Yeah, and our checks are good for 90 days, so.
Okay, that's good to know.
But if your client does, I mean, we'll definitely stop pay, do whatever. and
Yeah.
We want it out of our files, we
Yeah.
don't want it.
I recommend to my client, pay the wiring, get the money so that you can get it right away. It's not in an envelope, no, you're not gonna have a check held at the
Yeah.
bank, you know,
See,
cause
that's
your
like
checks are
10
held
days.
too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our bank will hold the checks for up to 10 business
Exactly.
days, depending on the amount.
So on that note, when a file is, let's say, funded and recorded, when do you do your disbursements? Is it always the next day, or is it just
We'll do
whenever
same day
you?
if
Same
we
day.
can,
Yeah.
You try,
depending on what time
okay,
we get recording confirmation.
Yeah.
okay.
If not, it's the next business.
So if a seller closes, and let's say we get confirmation late in the day, but it's too late to have the funds wired because of the time zone, it's pretty much only processed the next day.
The next morning.
Next one, yeah.
So it just depends.
All right, I have a hardball question for you. You guys ready?
Yeah.
What can agents do to make your lives easier?
Stay out of the
He's not wrong.
I know.
For me, I think,
What?
sorry, I think for me, if we're reaching out to you for more additional information, we're not trying to make your life worse, we're not trying to bug you, it's because we're trying to accomplish something on the back end. And like you said, like not all our realtors read the prelim, so if we're reaching out to you, it's because you're really our last step, like we need help, like
Yeah.
please help us to get this accomplished for us to have a good closing at the end. Because at the end of the day, we all want the file to close.
Yeah.
We're not, Escrow is definitely not trying to stop you and make things complicated. We want it to close and we want your clients to be happy. We want them to have a great experience. So if we're reaching out to you for additional information, it's because we really need it.
For me, written mutual
Yeah.
instructions is the hugest thing. They're like, well, why can't you just do this? Well, because you're telling me to, and I don't know what the rest of you want, you know? And we just need paper trail, and really you guys do in your files as well, for audit purposes. Even if we trust you, and we have this great bond, we still.
I don't trust any of them.
We still have to get that written, so it's in our files.
Yeah.
And responding, sometimes we don't get responses. It's kind of,
Mine are the same as Kathleen's for the most part. Yeah.
I have no other questions. Anybody else have questions? Jeff?
On signings, and they're coming into the office, Jaime already knows where I'm going.
Yep.
You're gonna have on there, just in case it does happen, mobile notary.
Yes.
fee. If they come in, is it removed?
Yes, yes.
I always keep mine in at the.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in
no, I
case.
agree.
Yeah,
It's a
just
nice
in
little
case.
cushion.
Yeah.
In case proration or interest changes or
Yeah.
something simple.
Cause I've had where, like a buyer came into our office to sign and then the lender redrew documents and then we had to use a mobile notary, so
No, I
that
agree.
still has to be paid
Yeah,
for.
and then-
I agree.
Then, so yeah,
Plus you have to redisclose,
Yeah.
and that could be a 3-day
so then.
for the CD that goes in
Yeah.
disclosures.
So I always keep it towards the end, and then when I go disperse it, I'll remove it towards the, and the buyer will get the money back, or buyer or seller.
And we do a couple other little cushions sometimes, like recording
Yep.
fees, endorsement fees, just so we do have a little bit of money for that buyer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Felicia has a question.
What is a binder and when does a client qualify for that?
So binders are typically used by investors, people who are not gonna hold on to the properties for a long time. So binder, 2 years.
2 years.
So basically what they do is they tell us, Escrow, that they wanna purchase a binder. And so it's 10% of the owner's policy, is the cost for it. And then we close, the policy is notated that there's a binder on there. When the investor is ready to sell the property, whether they rehabbed it, a year later, they're selling, then they only pay the difference of the title insurance from the sale price to the purchase price. So instead of having a $500,000 policy, you're having a $200,000
Whatever
policy.
your
Yeah. So
equity that
so
you
you
got
save money.
built.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, you have to come back to Rock Title, because I did get a call from an agent who purchased a binder and asked if we would still honor it if they went to Chicago Title. It's like, sorry,
No.
no. Well, how do they get their money? And I said, well, they'll have to bring the escrow back to me.
Yeah.
That's how we do that.
The whole
So she
purpose.
was a little unhappy about that, but they do have to bring it back to the same title.
Yes.
To get it.
So then how many transactions qualify an investor in Clark County per every 12 months?
I don't know that.
So then how do they, I thought it was 3, but I wanted to make sure with you guys.
It's not
So
an
when
escrow
we give
thing.
an investor discount, what is the qualification on our end for that?
They just tell us.
No, they
Right.
actually have to
Yeah.
have done 3 transactions in the last 12 months.
Okay, so
But we don't look that up.
Yeah, I look up in the taxes.
Oh.
Or I ask
that's
them,
how
do you
you
have
qualify
any,
for a binder,
can you
right?
give me 3 property addresses that you've done in the
Right.
last, and I'll look up on the tax assessor's office.
And that's how they qualify as an investor?
For their, discount on their escrow.
They can't live in the property too, right?
I'm
They
sorry?
can't- They can't live in the property either.
Not if they're investors.
Yeah.
I mean, they're usually your investors that ask are LLCs and,
Correct.
you know, type things.
I don't always get asked these questions, so.
No, that's okay, they're good.
I'm learning.
Yeah, there are situations that come up all the time.
I know, if you, I do have one thing to share back to prelims. If any of you ever get a seller that's selling on a deed upon death, no, they're not automatic, they are not in play without, there's like a 90-day waiting period. They have to file with like the Review Journal or Legal News that states, for the creditors, that it has to be a notice for creditors' errors, so they can all have time to say that they owe us money.
And Medicaid too.
And then Medicaid has to be contacted to make sure that they are not due any funds. So I know I've had a few and they've been on hold for 3 months because they had to start that filing.
I just closed 2 of them in the
Yeah.
last couple months. It takes some time.
And then of course your buyers are like, no lock agreement, especially right now and stuff, so be aware of that.
All right. Do you guys have anything that you wanna add?
Yeah.
What is a statement of information?
It just asks all the.
We wanna know
Yeah,
everything about you.
Well, I know where you're born at, when you're born, no.
You have
Yeah,
kids.
it does ask you that, actually,
We get
yeah.
to do your kids, because your son might have the same name as yours, and we gotta decipher if it's you or him, or,
So we're just trying to clarify, like, same name. Like, I always say same name, like, my name is Sarah Martinez, so, you know, that's a common name. So, yeah, so I'm always filling out statement of information, because other people have Sarah Martinez, and they might have a judgment against them, so they're asking me for information, like my social security, my middle name, birthday, if I was married, all this information. It's just because we're trying to narrow it down, the judgments.
But they go all the way down to just an S Martinez.
Yeah.
They search,
Yeah.
so that they have to clear.
Yeah. So anything with, even if my name, like my name has a H, we sometimes will still have to clear judgments if it's just Sarah without an H, but it's Sarah Martinez. Because when people input information, they can miss the age, they can miss whatever, it just depends. So that's why we ask for so much information, especially if we're trying to clarify judgments.
So how about when a home is being sold that's in a trust and one of the trustees is deceased? You recognize the successor trustees, correct?
We need a full copy of the trust agreement
full
and
one.
any amendments. Yeah, when there's a deceased, we can't go off of a certificate.
Okay, that's good to know.
And we need, an original death certificate, cause generally we have to file an affidavit terminating death of a trustee. So they will, title does ask for the full agreement.
So complete trust when a successor trustee is involved. What if there's two trustees and one of them is the main and another one is successor? Do you still need the whole trust? When it's
Anybody
Still
is
have on that
deceased,
pass.
yeah.
Or if one becomes incapacitated, then we need like
Two
two
doctor's
doctor's notes saying what's wrong, why can't they sign, you know, if it's dementia.
Okay.
And, you know, we checked the death certs for, like, if they signed a document 2 months prior to death, but they had Alzheimer's. They did. Then we know, well, how did this person know what they were signing? Because generally, you don't pass in 2 months of, you know, that's why it's all kind of tricky when it comes to when there's a death.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in that situation. I'll have a listing soon where one owner, it's in a trust, married couple, the wife died, the husband has been declared whatever the name is. And so now the children of each of them.
Or the successors. This is what you do, open a prelim
I don't even know if
with
they're, I don't even
Open
know.
a prelim with us, we'll ask you for the trust.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
And
them,
then we'll have title review it, so by the time you get your buyer, we'll have it cleared up what's needed, and then you shouldn't have any hiccups.
yes, I mean, I just got the email, the text.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it when you take the listing out when you get a buyer.
Co-successors of the trust.
Yeah.
That would be it,
Because
okay.
Matt in title, he's great with helping us,
Yeah.
you know,
Navigate.
jump on the gun and try to clear things up prior
Okay.
to listing and closing.
Who would like to get Matt in here and do a prelim class?
Yes, we can do that.
Because you don't wanna do it, do you?
I can do it.
You wanna do it?
Okay.
Or any one of us can, or we could schedule Matt.
Yeah, I think we
He
can
will
do
do
that.
it too.
We can all do it together.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you,
That's what
ladies,
we
so
do.
much for the information. All right, before you go, I have one more thing to add. I wrote this up earlier to remind me, and I'm standing back there, and I keep saying to myself, remember to bring that up, remember to bring that up, remember to bring. Who has any idea why I wrote that there?
Okay,
What?
contingent on sale, yeah.
Contingent on sale.
Yes, that's a new status in the MLS, that it's contingent on sale. So, but here's the thing, is when you get an offer that's contingent, you put that status in there, you need a change order for that. Because even if you put in there, when you take the listing, because it asks the seller what status they want to put it in, right? Well, we don't know if we're going to get a contingent offer, so then you need to, new status, that's all. So, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank